So I was listening recently to some words from Brian Stevenson, who has done some really good work in our country around prison reform, and whose work has actually brought together conservatives and progressives. And it's one of those places, those unique places in our culture where we're able to work across some differences and recognize a common mission and actually work together to improve the situation for so many people who've been just wrongly accused and incarcerated. And so I find hope in those instances where something like that can happen. And there is some great hope in the recent century in South Africa, in Germany, even to a lesser extent in Canada, around truth and reconciliation. And one of the points that Stevenson was making is that is the place where the church can uniquely be helpful in this work that I believe God has put upon the heart of our nation. And so the church ought to be a place where we can help our nation do some truth-telling. I would love to be a place where we could help one another and help others listen to the voices of those who have been oppressed and who have suffered unjustly in our country. But we're also a place that has a vision for reconciliation and restoration. That's at the heart of the biblical tradition. We see it in the Old Testament, but we see it even more powerfully in Paul and his letters, and in Jesus and pretty much everything that he did and said. And so this is solid ground upon which we can stand as a church, a place where we can be helpful to a larger conversation that needs to happen and some important work that we must do as a nation if we're going to move forward. The final point of truth and reconciliation isn't to get stuck in the pain, but to move through it in a powerful and liberating way. And in some ways, I think we keep coming back to race because we just haven't done the work that we need to do in order to move forward. So I want to offer this prayer. I want to invite you to pray with me and for us, that we can find a helpful way to be part of the work before us. So I offer you these words that have been inspired by the book of Ecclesiastes, which is a reminder, especially in chapter 3, that there is a time for everything, for every season, for every matter under heaven, and we are being given a time that is ripe with possibility. And so may God lead us in the way of wisdom and grace, in the way of justice and mercy, in the way of truth and love. There is a time to plumb the depths of a painful truth. There is a time to weep with those we have wounded. There is a time to let go of the things that do not give life. A time to lose our collective life as a church in the faith that out of ashes will spring new life. There is a time to invoke the Spirit of God, because the reconciliation and healing we need is beyond our own making. This is a time for the invocation of the Spirit. Come, Holy Spirit, come.